Usually, when you turn on a novel console episode, right now, Karen and I are being stupid, acting out what it would be like if the two characters from our book and game are meeting for the first time.
R or creepy vampires
Or blah, blah.
blah blah blah.
But not today.
Not today, no.
We
We are burnt the fuck out.
Yes. But luckily, we want to promote our Patreon. And luckily, right now, we are running a series on the MCU, which we call the MCU Journey, where we watch all of the MCU movies in
chronological order.
Exactly. And what was the first one we did?
Captain America, the first Avenger.
And that was a fun episode, right?
It was.
It was a pretty fun episode.
The second one, I fucked it up.
No, it was still a great episode. So let's do this. We're going to put on the episode here as a free preview. If you're a Patreon subscriber, thank you. We appreciate you listening to this maybe 2 minutes of us talking shit before we actually start the episode.
Yes.
And if you're not a Patreon supporter, please listen to the episode. If you like it, just know that there are more episodes coming to our Patreon. There's one releasing this week on Thursday.
Captain Marvel is already up and running.
Yes, that one was pretty good. Carradine actually drove on that one.
It was terrible.
And the next one is going to be Iron Man.
Iron Man?
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
I always have problems with that word.
Iron.
Anyways, if you guys think that you like this episode, we would greatly appreciate it if you support us on Patreon. It's $2 a month. You will get this, access to polls and all that. And next week, Carradine, what are we doing next week that is so awesome that we've been working for 2 months? That was the product of the Backlog of Doom episode.
We're finally reviewing our backlog of Doom things. Mine is slightly different than what everyone voted for. Oops.
Yeah, well, you still have to review it because you still have to give it your rating of whatever.
It'll be like a 2-second. I DNF'd this at like 50 pages. Peace out, yo. Pick next and running.
You still have to say that when we record the episode.
I'll say it again.
All right. So that's it for this intro. So just stick around, enjoy the episode. If you have any emails or anything, or you want to contact us or whatever, just send us an email at anovelconsole@gmail.com, and we will get you guys next week. And it's going to be a really, really fun episode. And hopefully no more tired hosts and co-hosts.
I mean, if we're we're always tired, but today we're just exceptionally tired. So next week we just need to be just tired.
So we'll do a couple of rails of cocaine before starting the episode, all right?
Oh my God, don't tell our parents that.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. Welcome to A Novel Console. This is our first Patreon exclusive episode for our Marvel Chronological Order series. Today, we discuss Captain America, and there's a reason I don't do the intros. Oh.
It's because you don't have it written in front of you, so you can't read it.
Yeah, I'm doing it all off memory. I went to say our regular intro, and I still fucked it up. I said shows instead of food. We don't talk about shows.
Yep. And you didn't introduce...
That's not even what we're talking about today.
You didn't introduce yourself.
Oh, right.
You didn't.
My name is Carradine, and I'm here with my lovely co-host and wife, Chris.
It doesn't go that way.
That's how you say it. That's how I gotta say it.
Oh, God. It has to be gender specific.
This is my man. This is my husband.
My man-child.
My man-child, yes. It reminds me, I saw a TikTok the other day that was one of the, boop, 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 boop with the hand dance thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's true that you took in someone else's child with, like, no qualms, and you're raising someone else, paying for them, everything. And their parent doesn't want them back. And it's like, no, my mother-in-law doesn't want him back. It's like you think this whole time that she's raising a legit child. I mean, she is, but it's pretty brilliant.
So, this first episode is going to be Captain America, the first Avenger.
Because chronological.
And in regards to that TikTok, Steve was an unwanted child
Poor Steve.
from the U.S. Army. They did not want to take him
Poor Steve.
to the point where he was making up fake identities to get drafted, and they would not take him.
It was pretty pitiful.
Yeah.
He lived all over the country, but he had all of the same medical problems.
Well, he said he lived in different parts of the country. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So, the movie starts in the present day, or what happened to be the present day when that movie came out.
In like 2011.
Yeah. And they find a crashed something in the ice that looks like a UFO.
You know what that intro reminded me of?
What?
It's the same intro as the fucking Titanic intro. It's them in the submarine, present day, going down to explore.
Present day 1997.
Yeah. Present day at the time that the film came out. And then they find the ship, and then they go contact Rose, and she's like, hell yeah, I'll come be interviewed. Woo. And then we go back in time and see the Titanic sink to the bottom of the ocean.
That's so weird.
You've seen that movie, right?
Bits and pieces.
We need to watch Titanic for Patreon.
What's her name's boobs is the only part that I watched.
Kate Winslet.
Her boobs.
Yeah.
We're not doing Titanic for Patreon. So
I'll never let go.
So the bomber. So this is just gonna have a lot of spoilers because we just took
It's been out
notes.
since 2011. It's 10 years
we,
old.
We just took notes with our current knowledge of what's going on in the movie, and we found some really cool stuff. So in the movie from there jumps back to 1942, and the Red Skull is raiding some church, and he is looking for the Tesseract.
And he finds Mr. Filch.
Who?
Mr. Filch.
Who's that?
From Harry Potter. He's the groundskeeper. Wait, no, Hagrid's the groundskeeper. Wait, no. Filch is like, think of Filch as like the maintenance guy at the school.
I see.
He's also...
So he's the one that unclogs the toilets with his magic wand?
Yeah. Well, no. Cause
He just shoves the wand inside the toilet
he's a
and pushes
squib,
it.
so he doesn't have magic. He's born to a magical family without magic.
Ugh.
Yeah. He's also in Game of Thrones. He orchestrates the Red Wedding.
And
look at him being a good little guy trying to protect the Tesseract.
He gets killed for it.
He does. He gets killed real hard.
Very
he gets
murdered.
zapped, right?
Yeah.
By the Tesseract. Doesn't he? No, they shot him. They shot him.
No, they just shoot him.
They zap people with the Tesseract after they start
So
experimenting
Red
on it.
Skull finds the Tesseract behind a wall.
Elrond takes the Tesseract from Mr. Filch. Yes! This is brilliant!
But he finds it behind a wall with the Yggdrasil tree. Is that what it is? The
I remember him
tree?
saying that. Yeah.
And,
Yggdrasil.
yeah. And then from there it jumps to New York, where Steve Rogers can't get into the army.
I forgot just how little he was. He's so tiny.
I feel like this movie should have like a Scott Pilgrim adaptation style thing and have like cutaways like that. You know, like in the beginning of Scott Pilgrim, it says, in the magical land of Toronto, Scott Pilgrim is dating a teenager.
Like,
well, it should be like that.
and like,
Steve Rogers can't get into the army, and it scrolls down, and Steve Rogers is there. And he says, "I can't get into the army."
yeah, and
that
like
would be great.
the Mitchells versus the Machines, like that
Yes.
type. Yeah.
Yeah, and after that, he goes to a movie, and for some reason, movies always have ads. In the movie, some guy is telling the whatever camerographer or whatever it's called, the movie projector guy, he's telling him to skip ahead. Nobody cares about the movie. And Steve tells him, shut up. Just keep it down. Respect the forces, because Steve has such a fucking hard-on for the armed forces and the United States. And he goes outside and gets his ass beat. Mm-hmm. Very, very badly.
All because he had a boner for the army.
Now, after Bucky saves him, right?
In the alley.
Yeah.
And he's in uniform. Way to
Yep.
rub it in, Bucky.
Yep.
Asshole.
Yep.
You deserve to be the Winter Soldier.
Hey, don't.
I'm just hating.
And I forgot something before we watched the movie, and it's that Howard Stark is in this movie a lot,
A lot.
a lot.
I
And-
forgot that.
And Bucky is also in this movie.
Well, duh, Bucky's in the movie.
He's the one that killed Howard Stark.
That was a big spoiler for me! What the fuck? I didn't know that! What? You know there are movies that I haven't seen!
Well, that's why we're doing this, and I said that
the
we're gonna have a lot of spoilers.
No,
going
you warned that there
forward.
would be spoilers at the beginning, but it's not supposed to be spoilers for me!
Well,
What the hell? I'm just gonna walk out right now. You don't need me here. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he
You're
does.
fucking shitting me.
He does. He kills Howard Stark in.
Well,
in
then
the,
no wonder Tony doesn't like him.
He killed both Howard and his mom in the Civil War movie. They show the flashback of him killing them.
Fuck.
Yeah. If you ever seen that picture of
I
him,
hate you.
If you've ever seen that picture of him just staring like into a camera with a car behind him, that's that scene where he kills them in.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy, right?
Wow.
And after Bucky saves him, they go on a double date with these two girls that they never mention, right? And there we see Howard unveil his hovering car, who fails.
Like Walt Disney. Howard is the Disney of the Marvel Universe.
So does that mean that Walt Disney has a son that's like Tony Stark?
I think he only has children.
You would hope.
I thought he only had daughters.
I mean,
He has a
I don't know.
nephew, Roy Jr. Yeah? No. It doesn't matter. But it reminded me of Walt at the World's Fair.
I see.
Like debuting, it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Carousel of Progress.
Oh, the Carousel of Progress. That shit is so boring. It's terrible.
It's a good nap.
I wish.
Air-conditioned nap.
I really wish that was the correct future we're living in. Like Jetsons.
The Marvel Universe.
Jetson style future. It's all
No, I'm good.
like retro futuristic. It's all really
I'm good.
odd, but works somehow. Anyways, so that's where he sees him, and then there's war drafting everywhere in that fucking time period in New York, apparently. And Steve goes off to get drafted during that double date. And Dr. Stanley Tucci,
Sees his boner for the army.
he doesn't. He literally does.
I would just like to point out that Chris didn't even realize that it was Stanley Tucci
No.
until I said in the Discord.
In the Discord.
In the Discord, I said Dr. Tucci sees his boner. He's like, "Oh, I didn't realize I was Stanley Tucci."
And
I can't talk today. Jesus,
I just
forgive
couldn't
me.
unsee Stanley Tucci anymore after that.
Yeah.
And he gets approved after Stanley Tucci sees his boner, and they have an iconic line mentioned for the first time in the MCU, and it's
With
don't-
great power comes great responsibility.
Don't do anything stupid. How can I? You're taking all the stupid with you. And I forgot that when Steve was getting beat up, he mentioned his iconic phrase,
What was that?
"I can do this all day."
Oh yeah, he does say that a lot.
Yeah.
Bless him. That's America's ass.
So from there, it jumps back to the Red Skull and Dr. Sola fucking around with
Elrond and the little page from Ever After.
with the Tesseract.
Yes.
Yeah, they're fucking around with the Tesseract. And they fuck around to see if they find out, and maybe later on they will find out. And they did find out.
They get to zap people.
Yep.
Woo!
Agent Carter is in this movie, which I forgot she originated in this movie.
Well, no shit. That's the only way I knew who she was.
And even funnier still is that Tommy Lee Jones is General Patton.
And Tommy Lee Jones is the perfect General Patton. He is wonderful. I love him. He can do no wrong.
Tommy
I
Lee
love
Jones,
him.
really?
Yes.
Really? Why do you love him? This
I
is new.
developed a big crush on him.
In Men in Black?
No, in Pearl Harbor.
When he has the roach
When
eat him.
he is old Josh Hartnett. I know it doesn't make any sense. Oh, and wasn't it Space Cowboys? Isn't he in Space Cowboys with Kiefer Sutherland? I think
Kiefer Sutherland was in Space
the
Cowboys?
old one. Yeah,
Really?
I'm pretty. Let me go Google. One moment. I'm close. I knew it was the old Sutherland, but I forgot that his name is Donald Sutherland. Oops. But it's Clint Eastwood, Tommy Lee Jones, Donald Sutherland, and James Garner. May he rest in peace.
Who's James Garner?
You don't know who James Garner is?
No.
Oh God. He's the grandpa in that one TV show, that one sitcom. Oh fuck. I'm gonna need another moment. He's the grandpa in that show, Eight Simple Rules. Where
Right.
John Ritter
Right.
was the dad, but John Ritter had a heart attack and died. He was
And-
the guy from Three's Company way back in the day.
And they put in David Spade, and you just told me that Kaylee Coco was the
Yeah,
daughter.
David Spade was the uncle. Kaylee Cuoco was the oldest daughter.
I think I remember watching that show when it aired on ABC Family.
ABC Family,
as a
yes, it
rerun.
showed all the time on ABC Family. He's also in The Notebook. He is old Ryan Gosling in The Notebook.
Old Ryan Gosling.
I mean, he's done a lot of stuff, but those are the two things that you would know.
So getting back to Steve, right?
Yes, Steve.
So he's finally in the army,
Woo!
right?
Thanks to Dr. Stanley Tucci.
Exactly. And he is having a rough time with everything. During a jog, he's the last one in the back.
He can't do
And,
sit-ups. Bless him's heart.
No, he can't. And
I mean, push-ups.
this guy, General Patton, pulls up with Peggy Carter in the back seat, and Steve's training officer tells him whoever can knock down that flag and take that flag down can take a ride back with Miss Carter. Nobody's done it for 17 years. The whole platoon fails. Steve goes up to it, takes some pins down, grabs the flag, rides away with her.
I feel like I zoned out during that part.
You probably did. It was.
Oops.
It was a very weird transition on how everybody is like against him being Captain America, but then Peggy and Stanley Tucci are like, no, he's gonna be Captain America. He's the right choice. And then Tommy Lee Jones is like, oh, I'm not sure about this. Why don't we just take the guy that's obviously a soldier? And she says, well, he doesn't have the heart. He says, let's see. He grabs a drumming grenade, throws it, everybody
remember that.
runs, and then Steve jumps on it.
And tells everybody to run. He's going to
And-
save them.
Tommy Lee Jones is like,
Fuck.
you were right.
Fuck.
So after that, Dr. Tucci goes into Steve's room while he's just sitting there with a bottle of, what was it, scotch or something?
Something. Gin. I don't remember.
And he tells him the story about how Red Skull took the super soldier serum, but it made some changes and all that stuff and just made him crazy. And he gives Steve, his last drink before his big thing. And
It's Transformation Tuesday.
immediately he says, you know what? You can't drink. You can't drink, no liquids until your surgery. So he denies Steve the last drink he will ever have.
That could have gotten him drunk.
Yep.
Poor guy.
So who knows when's the last time he got drunk, and he'll never be drunk again. For some reason here, I just have a note that says Steve is a virgin. And another one here that says he stays a virgin until he dies.
No, he doesn't. Bless him. He finally gets some, but only because he goes back in time
And
to
stays
get
there,
it.
yeah.
Jeez.
And you pointed out that Thorin Oakenshield
Is
was
the bastard that blows up the joint.
after they transform him, when
Yep.
they inject
Yep.
him with the serums and all
Kills
that.
Dr. Tucci.
Yeah. So before that, they inject them. He starts growing crazy, and
He's screaming. They're ready to stop, and he's like, "No, I can handle this. Just do it."
he has such a
So,
he has such
Tony
a
Stark
boner.
Sr. amps up the thing to 100, and boom,
Power
Steve
lights
gets
go out.
ripped.
He does get ripped. But it just shows how much of a boner he has to go to war, that he is willing to put up through all that pain just so that he can come out
That's
the other
awful.
side.
I mean, hey, it was worth it. He had a big glow up. Big glow up.
I mean, I guess, but and it's funny that you see him when he's skinny and little, and the voice coming out of him is a regular.
Does it
Captain
make sense?
America
Yes, I
voice.
was
It's
thinking
so
the whole
weird.
time. Like, you guys couldn't have modified his voice a little bit, made him a little squeakier, because it does not match this CGI'd body you've given him.
Well, it wasn't CGI; that was real.
No, it wasn't.
The little one was CGI. The big one.
Exactly.
I
The
thought
little
you were-
one. That's what I'm
I
saying.
thought you were
His voice didn't match the little tiny CGI body.
Right. I thought you were
I
talking.
know that the big body is real. Oh my God. The internet has seen him naked, you know.
That's true. So then Steve chases down
Richard Armitage.
as he's hauling ass after killing Tucci and stealing the serum.
Mm-hmm.
And he,
Rips him out of a submarine and everything.
during that part, he has a new
barefoot?
body. He has a new body. He's not controlling it right. So he's like falling and like slipping. And it almost looks like Luna when we put her in the kitchen or make her run to the front door
Yeah. She struggles on the hardwood floors.
all the time.
She slips and slides everywhere.
So, and another thing, like when he finally catches up to Oakenshield, the last serum breaks,
Thank God.
right? And they say, "Oh, we can't make any more super soldiers. There's not going to be any more super soldiers."
Well, I mean, we find out that was a lie. Later,
There's like
but
20 more super soldiers.
Yeah.
Fucking Red Skull
You
is
have an
one.
entire series based on it.
Yeah, Red Skull is one. Bucky eventually becomes one, and
The guy
Isaiah.
from Isaiah.
Isaiah is another super soldier.
Plus all those thugs
Exactly.
in
mean-
wherever the hell they were. Slovakia, no,
I don't-
Sokovia. Were they in Sokovia? I thought they were in Sokovia.
They might have been Sokovian.
I think
what's
they
it
may
called?
have been
Immigrants or something.
or refugees or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. So the serum breaks. It's not Oakenshield because Oakenshield at that point had been dead. It was his getaway driver. Steve rips him out of the submarine. He bites down into a cyanide capsule. And this is the first time that we know that Steve has seen anybody die right in front of him. Or that he's been, quote unquote, responsible for somebody dying. And his reaction is just, nothing. Nothing. His reaction is nothing. Like you have death right in front of you and your reaction is nothing.
Well, it was a bad guy. So
Still, I mean, with how much of a goody two-shoes he is, he might value all life. Even the life of an ant is worth as much as a human's life.
I don't think he's quite like that.
No.
No.
Anyways, Hitler sends over some soldiers, some generals to check on Red Skull. And
Hydra.
and we find out that Red Skull has been exiled for being crazy.
Johann.
Johann. Stupid.
I hate that name. Johann. Oh boy.
So you remember how I said that they were gonna fuck around with the Tesseract and find out? Well,
Yup.
they found out and made weapons that disintegrate people. So they showed those generals the guns, and they disintegrate them, and then Hydra successfully secedes away from Hitler. So they're not Nazis anymore. They're
Worse than Nazis.
So with the super soldier serum and completely gone forever, there's not going to be any more super soldiers. So Patton promotes Steve to Army Public Relations. There was a whole musical number that was really on the nose
That
with
song
how
was pretty good.
It was, but it was really on the nose with how war propaganda was back in, in the 40s. I mean, everywhere. It's everywhere.
They had to hype it up. Make you want to fight for your country. It's worth fighting for.
And they put Steve in like this little movie, and he's supposed to be in Germany, and for some reason
There are palm trees in Germany.
a bunch of fucking palm trees.
Germany meets Florida.
Exactly. Not even. It looks like one of the beaches of where I grew up. Like La Playa de Macao. That's where he's fighting.
Germany meets Puerto Rico.
Yep. So after a long time doing PR and going to the troops, and the troops just want to see the girls and they don't care about Steve, he gets sick of being a PR monkey, and he just wants to fight.
He hasn't changed at all. He's only changed physically.
Yeah,
He's still the same old Steve.
that war boner is never gonna go
It's
away.
bigger than ever, actually. Because I'm sure that grew with the rest of his body. It had to have, right?
I mean, you imagine if it would have stayed small? Like,
That would be so disappointing.
You imagine if when he was
Surely
skinny,
Dr. Tucci made sure that that was an added benefit. Like, you have sacrificed your whole, like, humanity for the world. So we need to at least give you a big dick along with this upgrade.
maybe, but can you imagine if when he was little and skinny, he had a massive strong, and then when he became giant super soldier, it shrank? Would he have regretted it?
Not this dude. I don't think he cares about the sexes.
Well, he's still a virgin, so he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So he finds out that Bucky, his boyfriend, is 30 miles behind enemy lines. And
Being held captive.
yeah, by Hydra. So
Elrond.
Steve convinces what's his name? Convinces Peggy, and Peggy convinces Howard to take him to where Bucky is and drop him off, and then he'll come back with the safe platoon from the people that got kidnapped or whatever. And turns out that Howard is as horny as Tony is.
He's horny for Honey. He's horny for Peggy.
Just like
Tony's horny for everybody.
Exactly.
Pepper. Natalia.
Natasha.
Whatever the hell her name is.
Yeah.
Disney done fired her, so I don't have to remember.
I just cut off like 5 seconds of me doing nothing because I had no comeback for that Disney fired Natalia thing.
Well, did you see that they've completely just tossed that Tower of Terror film to the wind because she was supposed to be... I can't remember if she was like directing it or if she was in it or both. But they just completely scrapped the whole thing because they're done with her.
No, it is.
Even though she is totally within
the
her
right.
rights on this one.
And Disney was shitty about the whole thing.
Disney.
Fuck you, Disney. Anyways, so Steve drops off before time because, they're trying to shoot down the plane. The Hydras are trying to shoot down the plane. So Steve jumps off before time.
Because Howard and Peggy got to get back to safety.
Yep. And Steve starts being stealthy through the whole Hydra base with a fucking giant American flag shield on
and
his
it's an
back.
ugly one. It's a tacky one. It's a Party City Captain America
Yeah, it's the
shield.
one he used for his fucking promotions.
Yes,
and
it's not even the real one. Good Lord, it sticks out like a sore thumb.
And he's just there's a specific scene where there's like a forklift in the background and a soldier walking next to it. And I shit you not, the guy in the forklift looks to the side as Steve is running from cover to cover.
It's like,
And his shield was to the back to where that forklift was facing, so I'm sure that dude saw that shield. 100% sure.
We'll ignore it.
There's no way nobody saw this 6'7", 300 pure muscle man just he's just stomping around this fucking base. Can you imagine how big his feet are? They're like 15-inch size feet. He is not walking. He is slapping the ground as he walks. So I'm sure somebody saw him he actually saw Sola. And he should have probably killed him right there.
Sola?
Yeah. Sola was running out of his office with all his
the
documents
doctor.
and shit.
Yeah. Mr. Ever After Page.
Yeah. So
we forgot about that. Yeah, because I'm the one who said should have killed him.
Yep.
He's gonna fuck up everything. Well, no, wait.
Yeah, he does. He comes back in what was it? In Winter Soldier. Actually, he comes back.
Doesn't he make Bucky? Does he make Bucky?
Because
I know
Hydra
we have him at the end of this one. I'm confused.
Yeah.
You're jumping. I need a lot of holes filled, okay? Because I have not seen all these movies, as evidenced by the wicked spoiler you dropped on me. You asshole.
Oh, well.
You're not an asshole. I love you, but ugh.
So after that, Steve sees a map with all the Hydra base locations and whatnot.
Yes.
And then he goes and saves his boyfriend.
Cell phones really would have come in handy back then. Whip it out, pop a picture.
Yep. So he goes, saves his boyfriend, and we find out that Bucky was being tortured. And I'm pretty sure that was the start of the mental torture that they did to make him into the Winter Soldier, because he was very out of it when Steve found him.
Poor Sebastian.
Yeah. And there was one specific part after he saves him where they're running down some stairs, and like the bridge breaks off, and then they just run back the same stairs they came down from. I was like, what was the point of that? And then they come face to face finally with Red Skull.
Lord Elrond!
And Red Skull punches Steve's shield so hard that he indents it with his fingers.
Because it's the Party City shield.
Exactly, but it's also Super Red Skull because he's a super soldier too.
Yeah, he's a bitch.
Yeah, and once I think there was like fire or something or an explosion, and no, Steve punched him and his mask kind of moved.
Yeah.
And then he takes it off and he shows his Red Skull face. That is actually an improvement over his real Hugo Weaving face.
It really is. They make Hugo Weaving look like exceptionally terrible in this movie because he's got those like poop brown circles around his eyes. His eyes are really dark. It's not like they're like poop brown circles on his eyes, and his eyebrows are like so much more. What's the word I'm looking for here? They're so much spicier than they are. Yeah, because they're like literal anger lines. It's almost like he shaved them to make them permanent anger face. But Hugo Weaving really has permanent anger face. He's always got the forehead wrinkles and the creased, the arched eyebrows. I wish you could see all the finger motions I'm doing right now. But think about him. Think about everybody sitting around the Council of Elrond, and he's all. "Urgh."
That's true.
He's like an angry gorilla, but thinner.
It's funny because while you were like adamantly describing how he looks, you were like drooling. Like, do you think he's sexy and that's why you're drooling?
Okay, I have a confession.
Oh boy. Is he one of your boyfriends?
If I had to
If you had to choose between
him
Steve
and Frodo,
Rogers and Red Skull,
you would choose Steve
Red
Rogers
Skull
all day long. But if I had to choose between Elrond and Frodo, I'd choose Elrond.
I think you don't like Frodo because he looks like a
he looks like
little
a
boy.
child.
Yeah,
a child. Long hair works for Hugo. It's okay. It's okay. He's very well kept.
See, I think he looked best as
Well-kept.
Agent Smith. That's where he looked his best.
In the Matrix?
Yes,
No, he's
he
fucking
was like
terrifying.
Well, he was all
No, you know where he looks best?
where?
As V. In V for Vendetta.
Oh, because
He's
you don't
in the
see
mask.
But isn't he
Remember.
Isn't he all fucked up under the mask supposedly?
Supposedly, yes.
See, so he's not that good looking in that movie.
You
either.
never know, because you never see.
But you know what? After that little encounter, Red Skull goes up the elevator with the Tesseract and
Into
Sola
his airplane.
and gives Sola the
UFO
keys to his
thing.
car and tells him,
His Cruella de Vil car.
"Don't scratch my car." So he gives Sola the keys. Sola drives off, and he gets into his rocket / chopper / plane
/ UFO.
UFO.
Bomber.
It. Like, what?
Something.
What?
Big.
Who designed that? How does it
Right?
even work?
It's funny how
It looks like a amusement park ride.
right? It was made by humans in the 40s, but the present day people at the beginning found it and are like, "What the fuck is this?" Like,
Oh no, not that
couldn't
plane. The
even
other
tell.
one, the one he escapes in. It was like a giant dildo with like,
he escapes in a giant dildo.
yeah, it's like a giant long tube, and then in the middle it has a propeller with 3 turbines that just spin around in circles, and he somehow escapes in that shit.
Oh, I feel like I've forgotten this.
I think you went in the kitchen in that part.
Oh, making food.
Were you-
probably.
Probably a snack. So after they escape, there was like the base just completely exploded, and Cap walks back to the base, holding Bucky's hand because he is happy
They're
to have
lovers.
his boyfriend back. And Stan Lee finally makes his appearance, and he is a general. I don't remember exactly what the scene is, but I do remember that Stan Lee was a war general or something, and that was his cameo.
Yeah, but he's
I think it was because Steve was getting a medal or something.
Yeah.
I don't really remember that scene. Anyways, Stan Lee was there. It was great. And Steve starts giving General Patton the.
I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm already at the end of the movie.
Yeah, no, we still got a little bit to go. So Steve remembers the locations. He starts telling General Patton where everything is, and General Patton says, "Well, we can't put you on the front lines because you're the main character of the movie. So we'll just give you a special mission of wiping up every Hydra base off the map." And Steve then goes and builds his ragtag team of fighters. Who is
that he rescued from
exactly.
the
So he's like, and it's like an Irish guy, a Chinese guy, a French guy, a black guy, and Bucky. So everyone's well represented except for us Latinos
and the Germans because we got to fight them.
Was there a German?
Was there a German?
No, Tucci was the German.
Yeah.
So that's where they hit everything. So Howard Stark had a piece of the Tesseract that he found, and he wanted to fuck around and find out. And he found out, too, because he almost killed himself when he shocked it with electricity. And my girlfriend is in this movie.
Yeah, he didn't realize. One of his girlfriends. Isn't this like your bottom tier girlfriend?
She's not in much. So, yeah.
Which girlfriend is the number one girlfriend? Kat Dennings?
Kat Dennings, yeah.
And then Jamie Alexander. And then...
I feel like Jamie Alexander and Natalie Dormer are in the same tier. Yeah, because you don't see either of them in much. True. I was very happy when I saw Jamie Alexander and Loki. Yes.
Over and over and over
again.
And over and over.
Yes, I loved that. That was great.
Well, you know what I loved? Seeing Loki in every single episode.
He's kind of balding a little bit. He's a
beautiful man. So are you. We can't throw stones when we live in glass houses.
I know.
It's okay. I love you and your perfect head.
They probably should just cut Loki's hair.
No, you can't cut Loki's hair.
Give him a relatable
it's his
haircut.
signature. No. If you cut that man's hair, he's got to have like the suave, debonair Tom Hiddleston hairstyle. He can't.
Yes, I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Just because he looks weird. His entrances in his head are like halfway up his scalp, just like mine.
But hasn't his hair been like that all through the Marvel?
No, he's had.
I mean, we're gonna see soon because you're going to watch Thor.
He's getting older.
I don't care what the fuck you say.
We'll watch Thor.
We are going to skip Black Widow. We can't put ourselves through that torture again.
That movie was terrible.
Anyway, let's continue.
So Natalie Dormer makes out with Captain America.
And Peggy walks in, dun dun dun.
And gets jealous.
Yep. And Steve's like, no, it's not what you think.
And then they start having an argument, and he tells Peggy, oh, well, you keep fondue with Howard. And she's like, fondue is melted cheese. Steve taught that fondue was sex. He is such a fucking virgin.
Do we really get confirmation that Steve didn't actually? I think
yes, because
I believe that he didn't know what fondue meant, but I don't think he thought it was sex.
No, he thought it was sex because he asks Peggy what it is. Peggy tells him it's melted cheese, and then when he's talking with Howard, he says, "Yeah, it's just melted cheese and bread." So
that Howard hoped would lead to
fonduing. Yeah. So Steve finds a prototype for the shield. And this is, I'm not 100% sure if this is the first canonical time it was shown in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the chronological order, well, obviously it's the first time they mention adamantium. Adamantium? No, vibranium.
Vibranium, yeah.
Adamantium is not even in this universe yet.
Oh, I was about to say, are you mixing up with like DC shit?
No, it's Wolverine's claws. It's made out of adamantium. So vibranium, yeah.
So in the Fox universe.
Yes. The Sony universe.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
There.
So I'm not 100% sure if this is the first time they mentioned vibranium in the movies, because what was in this, like the third or fourth Marvel movie that was released in the MCU? After Iron Man. So I think this is the first time they ever mentioned vibranium. And he immediately gets a boner for it because he has a boner for shields. As you saw, since he was tiny, he's been grabbing shit to try to use as a shield to fight. And Peggy, being volatile as fuck, unloads a whole clip onto Steve holding the shield.
It's like, yep, it works.
It's like, wow.
You could have killed him.
You could have killed everyone. Those bullets would have bounced everywhere.
She was jealous as fuck.
Yes, she was. And then there's a 3-minute montage of Steve and his band taking out Hydra bases. And then everything goes wrong when Steve tries to hijack a train.
Yeah.
This means Americans shouldn't hijack trains because it's always going to go bad.
Yeah.
And interesting note from that part is that the shield takes a hit from the Tesseract gun and completely survives.
Right, that was blowing me away that the shield held up against the Tesseract.
Didn't Bucky? But wasn't Bucky the one that took the shot? That got shot with the Tesseract? Or was it?
I think they both got shot with the Tesseract.
And they just both got blown back or something.
Yeah.
So anyways, Bucky somehow makes his way outside of the train after he was shot by the Tesseract gun while he's holding the shield. And he's holding onto the bar. Steve tries to get him, but he falls to his supposed death, which we all know is a lie because...
Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
All the holes that I need filled. I hate you. Shut up.
So he survives somehow after that. That was a very long fall down there. He should have been with how high that was, he should have been a blood stain in the bottom. Nothing of his should have survived. That needs to get fixed.
Did they never explain like how he did survive?
No.
No.
They said, "Oh, we found him. We just survived him.
Cool.
We survived him." So
cool. A really, really soft patch of snow, I guess.
Well, maybe. But they do find Sola in the train, and they capture him.
Yeah. This is where he gets captured.
And General Patton brings him a peace offering.
A steak dinner.
A steak dinner with milk.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I will never understand why schools tried to give us milk with every fucking meal. That created my aversion to milk. Milk does not go with chicken tenders and honey mustard. Milk does not go with Salisbury steak and mashed potatoes.
I'll give you one worse.
No, don't even tell me. Don't tell me. You've shown me. And milk and lasagna. Oh my God.
Milk does not go with Chef
Mofongo?
Boyardee raviolis.
Oh no.
Milk does not go with rice and beans.
Milk doesn't go with salad.
Milk doesn't go with beefsteak.
Nope.
Milk goes in the garbage.
Yeah. Yep.
It barely goes with cereal.
Yep. That's very true.
I'd rather
disgusting.
have cookies and water than cookies and milk.
I'd rather you let me go hungry than give me milk with my food. And I'm a big girl. I know how to eat.
Just choke on the food. Nobody cares.
That's terrible. Oh boy. I'll never understand. Never.
You know what's funny? I don't think I've mentioned this before on the regular podcast or even anywhere. And is that my grandpa was in the Army. Mm-hmm. And in the Army, he learned to eat without drinking anything. So he kept those habits from the Army, and it got to the point where he's not losing his voice, but his vocal cords are
he's raspy as fuck.
They're damaged
he sounds
because
pitiful.
of that, and it got to the point where a doctor said, every time you eat, you need to drink something with your food, otherwise you're gonna go mute. It's funny because that's when I was a little kid too. I remember being a little kid and he would be eating and he didn't have anything to drink, and I would bring him a glass of water or something to drink, and he would just finish eating and start walking away. I was like, no, you sit down and you got to drink what you drink. Or like he'd be eating and I would stop and I was like, take a drink. I'd be like 10 years old just telling my grandpa, drink your shit.
Poor grandpa.
I still do it every time I notice that he doesn't have anything to drink. I just tell him, I was like, take a drink. Because he will not. He will not. He is, 90 years old, and he will not take a drink.
He's like 85. He's not 90 yet.
He's close.
He's older.
He's very close. But yeah. So, my grandpa would rather eat his food without anything to drink.
Than drink milk with steak.
Milk with steak. So Sola gets offered immunity if he rats out where the Red Skull is.
Yup.
They don't confirm it until later on in the movie that he did actually get immunity. because he somewhat rats him out, but doesn't say, I'll take your deal or anything. He just kind of like rats him out of spite. And then we jump to a bar. Steve is drinking by himself, and he can't get drunk because he's a super soldier. And he's just sulking over his boyfriend, and he won't let it go. And poor Steve, poor Bucky, he'll never be the same. And then immediately after that, they show Sola working with Patton, and Patton confirms that Sola took the deal, which actually leads into future problems in the MCU.
I do know that much at least.
A lot of problems later on.
Because doesn't Sola even eventually have something to do with that bitch that I didn't know because I hadn't seen that one movie? The one who hates all the power. What's his name? He's in the Soldier and the Captain show. Zemo.
Zemo?
Yeah,
Captain
Zemo.
Zemo?
Does he have anything to do with?
That's something completely different.
Oh,
yeah,
he's actually. I thought that.
He's actually the cause, the catalyst of the Civil War.
That's what you told me.
That
yeah,
strikes the match or whatever it's called.
He seems like a turd.
He is kind of a
really smart turd.
He's not a turd. He collects the turd, so he's a turd burglar.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So after that, there is a really cool bike scene where they show off for the first time Captain America. Is it the first time? No. Never mind. They showed him before in that 3-minute montage, Captain America with his uniform. That is
in real life.
That is the coolest Captain America uniform in the whole MCU. I don't care what anybody says. There is not a better suit than that one. And Captain Puerto Rico can go fuck himself. That is a shitty costume.
Captain Puerto Rico?
The one that he has in Avengers.
Oh.
It's literally the Puerto Rican flag. And it just looks terrible because it just looks like a onesie with half a belt
but it's so
and Puerto
fitted.
Rico. To what?
You see all of his body.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
I prefer this one. This one's much better. So he has a really cool scene with a motorcycle, and he kills guys in the motorcycle. Then he kills a truck, and then he ramps up in the bike off a building, and he jumps a gap. And I know for a fact that bike has to be at least 800 pounds. And for him to do that, Jesus Christ, he really is a super soldier.
It's a very heavy-duty bike.
Yeah. And he beats ass everywhere. And then he gets captured by 2 guys with flamethrowers. Why?
But I mean...
And then it turns out he let himself be captured.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's thought behind all of this, believe it or not.
So Steve let himself be captured just so that he could have Patton come in and attack the base with his soldiers. And there, you can tell that this is one of the first MCU movies because the CGI isn't really that great. Because there are some scenes where the soldiers are getting disintegrated, and if you look in certain areas, you can tell that the actor playing the soldier was, getting ready to jump back or to throw himself on the floor or to act like he was getting disintegrated. So that scene kind of took me off a little bit because I just started picking back and forth on shit like that. So Peggy kills a flamethrower dude, which is cool. Finally getting her to do more cool shit because, it's always welcome. Then the Red Skull tries to escape in the giant plane that he was going to use to tesseract the entire world. Steve fights its way onto it. And there's one thing that I noticed from the plane, and I don't know if this is true. If we have anybody that knows airplanes, maybe they can let us know. The plane has... So I don't think it works for an airplane to have jet engines as well as propellers at the same time. Does that sound like it could work?
I mean, it sounds a little counterintuitive, but I don't know shit about planes.
I mean,
so
can the propellers keep up with the jet engines? Wouldn't the jet engines be stronger than the propellers, and the propellers would just do nothing?
I don't understand how any of it works. Don't ask me. Call Tony. Ask him.
That's my cousin Tony.
He works on planes for a living.
Yeah, he does. And
He's gonna be like, "What the fuck? Why do you want to know this?"
so Steve gets thrown out of the plane after he finally got on, and Patton pulls up in the Red Skull car, which is literally
The Cruella DeVille car.
mixed with the Batmobile.
Yeah. Cruella DeVille meets Batmobile.
Yeah.
You have Johan's car.
And it's funny because this car has kind of got like a jet engine in it. And this is not the first car Tommy Lee Jones has driven with a jet engine in it.
Men in Black.
Men in Black.
Nice.
Where he drives the car. He just like...
But that was really exciting for him. That's
Yeah.
why they put him in that scene.
Because he's the only human in the world that can drive a jet engine car twice and survive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they they start running out of runway. And the plane is already in the air, so...
Cap's got to jump.
So he just swipes the car and shoots Captain America out like a missile. And he lands on the plane.
Of course he does. He's Captain fucking America.
Yeah. So it's very weird because throughout these whole scenes, you see Steve killing people left and right. He is like literally killing people.
Bad guys.
With guns, with motorcycles, with his shield, with anything he can get his hands on. And you never really see him have any sort of acknowledgement of what he's doing, especially since he's just such a sweet kid that wants to do the right thing. And when Dr. Tucci asks him, do you want to kill Nazis? He says, I just don't stand a bully. I want to stop all the bullies. Now he's literally killing everyone he sees.
But they're all bad. Like, it would be totally different if he were just like running through a civilian area and killing all of them just to get to Johan. He would never do that.
Yeah, but even if it's a bad person, you're still killing a person. And with how Steve is...
But if he doesn't kill them, they're going to kill him.
Still, with his personality, with the type of person he is, him not having any sort of reaction to it just contradicts the character. And another thing is, where did he learn how to fight?
I mean, it's instinct. Plus, he
is it because he was
had
doing
some of that training with Patton. I mean, how do you know that more didn't happen that we didn't see?
I mean, that's true, but still, I mean, he goes from...
It's a movie.
He literally goes from, I'm the Army's PR monkey to I'm saving a whole platoon of soldiers in a matter of an hour. Like, nope.
I also feel like it might be like kind of factored into the serum formula. Like,
learn how to fight.
Yeah.
Just wait till you see the second movie, the Winter Soldier movie. There's a big difference in the way he fights between this movie and that movie.
Yeah.
Like, noticeable.
But like an improvement?
Yes.
Well, then that makes sense because he's learning his own style, you know? And like I agree with what you're saying to a certain point, but like he knows what he's got to do. Like he knew being in the army was going to involve killing people. Like,
oh, and another thing, he doesn't react to this at all. He kicks a guy, and the guy gets mulched by the escape pod propellers.
yeah, but he also had his back turned to it when it happened.
You will still hear that shit.
It was pretty nasty.
I'm not gonna show you one, but there are videos online of people getting sucked into commercial airplanes.
Don't tell me these things.
The noise is terrible. Anyways, he falls out of the plane again. Just keeps falling out of the fucking plane.
See, that shows that he's still human.
And he shoots the guy in the escape pod out of there with the seat and everything, and he somehow pilots the escape pod back into the plane without a seat. Like, how did he do that? Because I'm sure that space is ginormous. He's not going to fit that space.
You know.
And what type of escape pod just keeps their controls after the ejection seat has been shot out?
Good question.
I think I'm picking and choosing way too much shit.
Nitpicking.
Yeah. So he flies his way back into the airplane, and he starts fighting Red Skull. Red Skull is beating his ass, but Steve breaks the containment unit for the Tesseract.
And the Tesseract decides to eat Johan.
Does
basically.
Does it?
Well, no, because we see Johan later. It like sucks him into space.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It was so weird. I wish that they'd shown that a little, because it like keeps going back and forth between Steve and him, and you don't like get a really clear picture of what's happening, except
Like-
that you can like see the fucking galaxy instead of the roof of the plane.
Yeah, and like you see like Red Skull like disintegrating, like melting off.
So is that
But-
him becoming the keeper?
That's what I'm wondering, because not only do you
Which
see him like melting
Was
and
time?
it doesn't matter.
It does matter. We'll find out
I think
later.
it's the spirit or whatever.
Oh.
Anyways, but you see him like disintegrating and melting, but you also see his body kind of like being elongated, like taken out into like a wormhole or some shit.
Yeah.
So
He's going
did
to be the
he
keeper.
become the keeper at that
At that
point?
moment. Well, the fact that we never see him again before that, and that's the only other time we see him, it has to be.
Yeah, and also the Tesseract is very
Bitchy.
no, it's very
Testy.
inconsistent.
Yeah. Testy.
Because it sent him over there or killed him or whatever. It burned a hole through the floor and went into the ocean. But it also can be held by human hands in
Yeah.
different points. Like what are the requirements to be able to touch it, or
Yeah.
like some
Do you have to be worthy?
God, you imagine that shit. You got to be worthy to lift up the Tesseract, and then Loki grabs it like it's just a piece of candy.
Right? Tosses, like, juggles it, basically? What the hell?
Yeah. So they're playing us on a collision course with New York. Steve decides to crash the plane. He says goodbye to Peggy because
Puts her
he's
picture up on the dash so he can look at her as he dies.
yeah. He says
They make
goodbye to
plans
Peggy,
for their date. Gonna take her dancing.
and as he's telling her he doesn't know how to dance and whatever,
She says she'll
Caught.
teach him.
they cut the communication right there.
And she cries. And
Yeah.
Patton is standing there with her, and he's sad too.
Yeah. So Peggy starts crying. General Patton is incredulous, and Carradine was crying.
I was boo-hooing. I remember watching this. I don't remember if I just told you or if I mentioned it on last week's episode. But I watched this by myself in a conference room in my dorm sophomore year of college because my roommate at the time, I avoided
Cheeseburger
like
girl?
the plague. No, this... Didn't we talk about this
Yes, we
last
did.
week? We did, yeah, because you
I
said the
think we-
same fucking thing. Oh my
had the
god,
same-
okay, then just ignore me. I already said this, but I boo-hooed in that damn conference room. Boo-hooed.
So after Steve crashes the plane, the war is supposedly over. Hydra was supposedly defeated. The Tesseract...
Supposedly. Howard gets the Tesseract, but is like super sad and is like,
And he won't
let's
give
keep
up.
looking. We're gonna keep looking for Steve.
Yeah. So we know that in Endgame... Is it Endgame?
I don't know what
yeah,
you're saying.
Endgame.
I can't
Endgame.
say if it was in game until you tell me
So
what it
in
is.
Endgame, Steve goes back in time to return all the stones. What if he went to the Stork Club to have his last dance with Peggy, and then they started being together?
I'm sure that's what happened. He shows up for the date, and they spend. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
And
I'm losing my shit. He goes to the date. He's probably a little bit late,
and older,
and they spend
like
the
10
rest
years
of their
older.
lives together.
probably.
That's so fucking beautiful.
But before that, Steve wakes up in an old-timey hospital room.
With
Not yet.
oh, I was so excited.
It turns out that the old-timey hospital room is an illusion created by S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's not an illusion. It's a set. It's not an illusion. It's a literal set designed to look like a room from the 40s.
And you know how he
hospital
breaks
room.
out, how he figures out...
Because it's a
yeah.
baseball game on the radio, supposedly like live, but he was at the game
Yep,
that was
being played.
yes.
So Steve breaks out of the room, runs into the street, freaks out over how much New York has changed.
He runs into frickin' Times Square, lit
And
up like a
Nick-
Christmas tree.
Nick Fury shows up and tells him he's in the future.
And I have to admit that I had completely forgotten by this point that Nick Fury existed. One of the most pivotal characters
In the MCU.
in this whole and I totally forgot about him. Totally forgot about him.
So-
I feel really bad.
so-
Because he got snapped, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't come back.
No, he did.
But we don't see him come back, right?
He did come back. I don't think we see him. I don't think
That's
we've
the
seen him
thing.
ever
We
again.
haven't seen him
No.
since everybody came back.
Huh. Wonder what they're
Right?
going to do with him.
Oh.
That motherfucker.
Right?
Anyways, so that's the end of the movie. After that, there's the post-credit scene.
Wait, no. Captain says he had a date.
And then it ends.
Yes. It's so sad.
Oh,
It's
God.
so sad.
Anyways, there's a post-credit scene, which is pretty much just a trailer for the Avengers. It is. It is.
It's so bad.
It's terrible.
It's 2010.
It's so low quality with
Oh, God, it's
nonsense
awful.
shots of random shit all over the place.
It's so stupid. And it tries to make Tom Hiddleston look like this epic villain, but he just looks like a jokester.
Like, this trailer is so
so
bad.
bad.
Like, compared to the rest of the movie, compared to the rest of everything that has happened in
I'm glad
Marvel.
that we know the movies are better than the trailers. Thank
God.
God.
That
Oh.
was so bad.
Yeah, up next is Captain Marvel.
We haven't
no.
given it a rating.
We're giving it a rating?
Yes.
You didn't tell me this?
Let's give it a rating.
Oh, God. Rating movies we've already fucking watched
I think this
before
movie.
this.
I think this movie is a ton of fun.
Are you giving it a rating out of 1 to 10?
No, 1 through 5.
5?
I think this movie is a 4.5. It's great. It's just fun, but just a couple of inconsistencies that I didn't like, and some.
Yeah, I
Things
think
that I didn't like.
4.5 is fair. I got a little bored at times. Like, especially when you're going through his whole damn PR campaign. Like, 2 seconds of that would have been enough. It was a lot. It was pretty boring.
Yeah, like
I
2 or
painted
3
my
minutes.
fingernails.
2 or 3 minutes would have been great, but wow, they should have given it more time when he was doing the montage of killing all the Hydra bases. That should have been longer than the fucking PR campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Overall, it's still a great movie. It still
It
holds up, even though.
And I love Marvel humor. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, it works.
It does.
It works really fine. I am very excited for Captain Marvel. I want to rewatch that
You
movie
know,
again.
I'm not that excited for it, but I know I wasn't that excited when we saw it in theaters, and I really liked it and made you buy me that Funko Pop.
The cat? The Flurkin?
Yeah, the
The
Flurkin.
Flurkin.
I had to have the Flurkin.
I'm excited for that movie because of how 90s and grunge it is. And I can't
And
wait.
see, I don't remember that part of it. I also don't freaking remember, like, how she came to be. So this will be a good... I only saw that one once.
Yeah.
Saw
So,
some only once, saw some multiple times, saw some not at all.
so for this movie, you're going to be in charge of taking the notes, and you're going to direct the episode next
Oh,
week.
no.
Yep.
No.
Too bad.
This is your favorite. I can't take over this one.
I want to call you out on everything. So
I hate you.
All right. So that's it for this Captain America MCU episode.
Oh my god.
You want to say goodbye to everyone, Kaden?
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.